I'm just curious. Is my main man James Jizzy Levesque in the house today?
Right here with you, Trey Ocho. We're feeling good. We got some special guests in the house right now. We got Papa Gates out here.
Oh, we sure do. We're going to do a little differently this time. We're not going to go through our formal introductions. As you all know, today's topic is, what do we consider ghetto? Yes, I just have to mention one example of my own ghetto-ness today. I happen to be looking out my own window. And you know how we have those blinds on our windows? You know, you have the blinds, you turn it, they open and close. I looked and there was about 10 slats were missing. One was hanging over like this. One, every time I did something, it stuck straight out the window. I said, if that is not ghetto, I don't know what is. But I also have to mention one thing that is not ghetto. I have to give a shout out to my man, President Barack Obama, and his wife signed a $50 million deal with Netflix. Can we give that brother and his beautiful wife a round of applause? So we're going to get right into our topic. Go ahead, Jerry. You want to say something?
50 million. That's nice. I like that.
Hey, I like to carry that in the wallet, Jerry. How does that feel?
That sounds good right there.
Absolutely. So we're going to get started right away on this topic. We're hoping to have a lot of fun with this today. I want to go to just announcing very quickly some folks that we have in the house. Oh, we have a national worldwide talent in our house today. The best comedian definitely on the East Coast. He's pushing the West Coast. He's doing it all over the place. My man, Mr. Jonathan Gates, is in our house today. We also have two community stars, some good friends of mine who are going to bring some different perspectives of what we consider ghetto today. DJ and Joel are in the house. And we have actor. He's going to win a Tony soon. He's getting there. He's doing plays all over the country. He's getting ready to go out of town. He don't want us to talk about it yet, so we won't say too much about his Shakespearean experience. Jay, can you do Shakespeare? Can you do a British accent and do wherefore art thou?
I do not know what are you talking about.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to have to do something. Elias Harris is in the house today as well.
Elias, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome, man.
All right, Jay Gates.
Good afternoon.
My man, you here. Jay, I'm curious. We always talk about this word ghetto. It's been around as long as the N-word. And I have to specifically tell you this because I know your style. We cannot mention that whole word on the air. And we are not allowed to use profanity.
Oh, I knew that. When I was in my Uber on the way over, I cursed for like 40 minutes just to get it out.
Thank you, Mr. Gates.
Yeah, I did. It was like, it's like being in the studio passing gas. I got rid of it.
Well, the word ghetto, I'm curious, Jay. Where did this word come from? How has this been around so long?
Most people thought the word ghetto came from the Soul Train line, but it did not. It started back in Italy, back in the 1500s. It was a place where they compelled the Jews to live, and it was a word called ghetto. It goes all the way back there, and then the Germans use it, and then it kept going, and when it got to us, it is now in the Urban Dictionary, a place where our urban community lives now, but it started off with the Jews back, I believe, 1529 was where it started from.
See, I guess you all did not know that Jonathan could be very historical, research, come up with data, and be very serious. I guess you thought it was all comedy. Is there more to you, Jay?
It's a whole lot more to me, man. It's amazing that we're doing this show, What's Ghetto, in the basement of a church while they're having service right now. I don't want to say nothing about that, but you can hear the service. He started. There's certain ways you can say what's ghetto. Your grandmama can call you ghetto.
I gotta say the service we thought was over at 3, but when I was saying that, yes, I will.
You can't stop God, boy.
You can't stop him.
Or first Sunday.
Sunday too.
First Sunday.
Now here's what's ghetto. First Sunday goes a little longer because the preacher know they got their checks. So here come another collection.
Let's just go back a little bit. When I was growing up, all I knew was the definition of ghetto that pertained to our neighborhoods. How did this word transition to something else? Anybody Can anybody comment on that? I don't know. I know in the 70s, all we talked about was ghetto, your neighborhood. I've never really heard it transition into foods or different things being ghetto. How did that transition occur?
I'm not sure when it occurred. I think, but I was thinking ghetto was when it was considered the projects. Ghetto, projects, it was all one in the same simulation. But then it transcended, I think, within the last,
20
what-
years.
I don't even think it go back that far.
I think it's the kids.
Gotta speak into the mic. Speak into the
Come on
mic.
up, Joya. Come on up, Joya.
Sorry. The kids started doing it. They were like, okay, that's my ghetto, that's your ghetto, that's my hood, that's your hood. So then they took that and the whole word into something different.
I think the word really caught hold with us when the song came out. Welcome to the
Ghetto
ghetto.
life.
You remember that song?
That's beyond
Oh, you
my
reached
time.
back.
So when you reach back to that song, he was glorifying where we lived, where
Yeah.
everybody was separating us like we were beneath them, and it was like, listen, we are alive and we are people. This is another word, even from the show Good Time. It was taking the worst, showing the best. So ghetto can have so many different meanings to people.
Sure.
But I think he's saying what it transcended now is when the young people have now, ghetto is a statement of who you are. It's a statement of how you act. It's what you wear.
I'm gonna go past it. I ain't gonna blame them kids. I ain't gonna blame them
But
kids.
that's what ghetto is
Maybe
now.
it was a comedian that transitioned this to us.
Maybe.
No, maybe it was somebody's mama on the corner going across the street with them food stamps trying to get from the corner store. No, don't blame the comedians. Don't blame the kids. A ghetto is a state of mind.
It is.
A ghetto is a state of mind, and you can only be ghetto if you allow yourself to be ghetto.
Well, let me ask this since we're in this discussion, all right? Is the word ghetto reserved for the black community only?
No. Absolutely not.
No.
So let's chime in somebody.
You got, I'm going to go with Lovely Mimi. You watch those shows, the one with the nails. When they're saying ghetto, they talk, once again, I'm going back to fashion statement. And they have the girl, whoa, Vicky. She's a white girl. And she says, I'm ghetto because of the way I act, my mannerism, and the way I speak. Once again, transitioning, saying this is what ghetto is. I don't think it's just that, but hey, I don't know.
No, I don't think it's just that at all. I mean, it stopped being a noun, turned into an adjective. We use it to describe things. If we think about the ghetto, it's coming and what comes out of the ghetto. It's about constraints. There was constraint, but then there's creativity within that. So what's ghetto is stuff when people get creative. When something that's not supposed to be that is something new.
Well, I'm curious. That's an excellent point. Can somebody then give me an example? I know how I can use ghetto with black folks. I know how I can use it with Latino folks. I know how to use it with just about everybody I can think about, but I couldn't figure out, can an Asian person be ghetto?
Yeah, I've seen it happen. you ever watch Asian try to do hip hop with their pants down? Hello, mama, I'm from you.
No, even the one DJ was talking about, Lovely Mimi, on the Love and Hip Hop show. She tells you all the time she's Vietnamese, and she plays on it. Oh, I do your nails for free. But she is hood as hell. It's ridiculous.
And then the first thing she says, and my baby daddy, he black.
But he black.
You know my baby daddy, he black.
And
that's
her
how she
accent is
talk.
bad.
It's the mannerism, the tone.
I think we've used that word just like the N word. We've used it and use it so much now, trying to praise certain things to give a reasoning for your action and what you're doing. And I think it is what it is. It's a part of life.
Sure.
It is a part of life now, especially coming from us. Because I'm gonna tell you what's ghetto to me. Going on vacation, see a bunch of white women with braids in their hair. That's ghetto.
That's ghetto to you.
Well, they go down there and they get beat because they getting $20 a braid and they thinking it's
Right.
cute. And they get that's a come up.
Right.
I'm not mad at the little Jamaicans and Trinidadians, but that's what happens.
But
when
they
you
come
go
back
down
with
there.
like, hey girl, I have my hair did.
Yeah, they definitely do.
So the ghetto comments definitely go to language. Listen, folks out there that are listening and watching, if you have an opportunity here in Boston, please call in the Boston Praise Radio. Our show is What's on the Menu. The number is 617-282-0685. Second line, 617-282-7794. One more line for you, 617-265-2679. Well, let's stick with our topic, ghetto. I had to poll the rest of the country, and folks were coming up with all types of things that they consider ghetto. Before I ask about other ghetto categories, let's just talk briefly, because you had to mention something that had to come up with ghetto, and you mentioned hair. I sent it out, and my cousin out in Miami happened to comment. He said what he thought was ghetto was someone having half the head done in weave and the other half is not done, but they still come outside like it's all right. Would that be considered ghetto?
Definitely.
Oh, that was the general
I got a better
consensus
ghetto
there.
one. Come out with a shower cap on your head and some flip flops.
Horrible.
In the park, walking around, and it's cool.
That's ghetto? I did
No,
that
that's not
yesterday.
ghetto.
That's ghetto.
I saw that yesterday when I was in the park.
That was me. So there were some other ones that people came up with as well. I have to ask this, and I had to look around and check my women in the studio first. Someone else mentioned that a nose ring is ghetto.
No.
I don't think a nose ring is ghetto.
No.
I think
that's more
That's fashion.
spiritual on fashion.
Right,
Yeah.
that's something
More
different.
spiritual and
That's a-
please explain that one.
Because if you go to the tribes of Africa, the ladies put the nose ring in, the warriors put the nose ring in, the earring. That was more of their traditional tribe.
So-
But it's who's
most of-
wearing it.
Right,
Because
right.
ghetto.
I got to ask a question. Is it because we're in the church that today, Jonathan, you're becoming very historical? Because you did a lot of research. You went back to Italy. Now you went back to Africa for me. I'm just
So you know this is ghetto for you, assuming that I was dumb it. You wanted me to dumb down me to be on your dumb show. Okay, now that's ghetto.
That is ghetto. That is ghetto.
There's a lot of layers to
He
comics.
paid
You know,
attention.
there's a lot of layers to comics. I think that's what makes them, very unique and very, elaborate.
Well, you know what? Comedians, black comedians are really the heartbeat of society, and what we do, we take what's out there and deliver it to you in a comic way that you can take it. So it's like a pastor trying to get you that message, and he takes what he knows and he puts it to it spiritually. I take what I know and bring it to you comically, and then when you leave, you're like, okay, I got it. And then you'll see it again. Sometimes the jokes will be funny, but in real life, it'll hit you later on what we was talking about.
Okay, well, let me just
So,
ask.
so in other words, his new name is Reverend Gates.
Reverend Gates is it.
Reverend Gates is it.
But I want to ask a question because after this show, someone mentioned that this could be ghettoed as well. I'm fitna go to the store. Fitna. I am fitna go to the store.
I don't think
Now,
that's ghetto
for-
more than
for-
country. I think that's more country than
More country.
Yeah,
That is,
That's
that's country.
fitna. That's fitna. It's a little more country. I don't think that's ghetto.
I'm from Alabama.
Well, I want to
That's
ask the
North
gentleman that
Carolina.
went to Bucknell University, okay, very close to Ivy League education here. Would fitna be considered ghetto? Like, don't let them intimidate you, liars.
let's intimidate you.
I've heard more ghetto things than fitna. So, not fitna.
Okay, let me go to some other ones.
But wait a minute, Tracy, do you know what fitna means?
I thought I used it in the right context. Should I do it?
Fitna.
Fitna is
Getting
like,
ready to.
is it?
Yes.
So I can't say I'm fitting to play ball. Is that right?
Yes, that was
I'm
right.
fitting to get my hair done.
You fitna go to the next subject.
I'm fitting to love my mama.
You fitting to be
No.
done with this?
No,
Okay, let me.
No. Don't use it in that context, because that's real ghetto.
You'll get slapped.
That's down south there.
Okay. How about this? Someone happened to mention to me that there are ghetto foods. Are there ghetto foods? Would hamburger helper be ghetto?
No.
No.
How about
I think that
spam?
cheese, you know that cheese block, that cheese that came like this?
Oh, the
like
block
this?
cheese.
government cheese.
Yeah,
That's
that
ghetto.
cheese.
Okay.
That.
Y'all are crazy. That was not ghetto.
What was that?
That was the best macaroni and cheese ever. You could make the best macaroni and cheese. You couldn't make a cheese sandwich out of it because you couldn't melt it. Remember, you couldn't melt it. It was that thick, and you put it.
I'm doing what I was told. I don't know nothing
Hold on,
about
the
that
canned
cheese.
meat
I'm
was
sorry.
ghetto.
The spam?
No, not spam. It wasn't spam. It was canned meat. And they cut the top off, and you had to punch like 5 holes in the butt.
I don't know what
If
that
you ain't poor, you don't know what
I
spam
don't-
is.
Listen,
Everybody
I don't
knows
know
what
what
canned meat.
is.
Wait a minute, I'm going to tell you on
Not
Friday.
spam.
No, but I
Friday, I went to the R&B.
No,
I don't know what that is.
It was if the can was big as a pineapple juice can, and you would cut the top off, and you had to shake
Shake
it
the
real
meat
hard.
out.
And when it comes out, there was a bunch of like slime at the bottom, and you would cut it. It was
It's
worse.
called slimy.
It was whatever it was. It was the ghetto bologna. Before
I don't know.
How about this one?
I
How about
don't
this
know.
one?
I don't
This
know.
might show my age a little bit, but I remember years ago you could go to the corner store and get a pickle in a jar. Would that be considered ghetto?
No, pickle in a
You can
bag.
still do that.
Pickle in a jar.
Pickle in a bag.
No,
They put it in a
I
ziploc.
know pickle in a bag.
I don't know no pickle in a
I know
jar.
I know pickle in a jar.
No, they put it in a
You
ziploc.
can put it. It was a dill pickle.
Well, you got it out the jar, and then they put it in the bag. Would that be
They
double
put it in a
ghetto?
brown paper bag. Just go ahead instead of a ziploc now.
Is that double ghetto or what?
No, they was looking. They was helping.
How about names of children that we know?
All right.
Oh my God! I had the nerve to recently run into somebody, and they introduced
trying to
me
make
to
them
their
special.
grandchild, and the grandchild was about 3 months old. And the
Croatia.
child, oh my goodness, that is a good one. Let's hold on to that one. But her name was Hennessy.
Hennessy.
Who would name their child
Croatia.
after?
Someone who
Jiggy
drinks a lot of
Jones.
Hennessy. I knew a girl had 5 kids, and they was named after everything she wanted: Mercedes, BMW, Hennessy.
Yeah, Alexis. I know you want Alexis. You know I know lobster.
She loves it.
I know lobster.
His name was Lobster Shell. Lobster Shell Small.
How about any other ghetto names we can think of? I'm sure, because I know we all got them in mind.
Shanae.
I
Oh
cannot.
my goodness.
No.
La Quay Quay.
Someone
You
on
know-
Facebook said they said Ray Ray.
Ray Ray.
Well, you gotta go with
Tell them
this.
Ray Ray
Everything is a ghetto name. The nicknames. Everybody got a Nene, a Nene. They all end in an E, in an I, and they're 2 letters. KK, KK, Nene, Nene.
Look, Kiki.
Mimi.
Pookie. Here you go.
We all know somebody named Pookie.
Everybody, I got a brother named Pookie. Don't we? And I named him Pookie.
Now, are the nickname really ghetto, or is it just endearment of love from your neighborhood?
Ooh.
Oh.
There goes
Well, they do name
Reverend
you by your
Gates again.
neighborhood.
Drop-
Reverend Gates dropping knowledge.
No, I'm just saying because
No,
I have a
no.
nickname that my grandmother gave me when I was 3 years old,
Are you
and
gonna
only
share?
the people that grew up
Can
with
I
me
s-
in the streets
Are
of
you gonna
Boston.
share?
Don't say it yet. Don't say it
I've
yet.
been trusting them.
Before Jonathan says the name, remember the panelists, do not try to say anything bad to a comedian. But once you jump on him,
We're not doing
so
that.
be careful.
We're not doing
Jonathan.
that.
What's your-
My nickname, my grandmother named me was Booby.
Wow, we all know somebody
I know some
named Boogie.
boobies.
That's
Hold on.
No, Booby
See,
and a
most
boo-boo.
people don't know Booby. People know Jonathan Gates. So I grew up in the streets of Boston. I am a church kid. A matter of fact, I'll give you a Booby story. I applied for the Boston police. I passed the test. The guy who did the investigations, he did up and down the street where I grew up. He came back and called me a liar. He said, "You'll never be a cop." He said, "Because you lied." I go, "Why?" He said, "I went and I asked everybody about Maggie's sons that lived there." She said, "No, ain't no Jonathan lived there. It's Harry and Booby. Ain't no." So that the whole street, from the older people to the young, knew me as Booby. So I don't think that's ghetto. I just think that's endearment, your nickname.
Well, I wouldn't tell
No,
you
it is.
mine.
What's your nickname, Pooh?
You will never guess.
I'm not gonna
It
guess.
would never be
You
guessed.
wouldn't guess I was
Let's
Booby.
hear it. Let's hear
Not
it.
at all.
But I mean, it was so bad that when the pastor in the church, she was like, "I never knew your name, baby." They always called me Squinchy. That's my nickname.
Oh, that's ghetto. That's how
That's
you're not a comedian. You're not a comedian. I can come back.
Do we
That
know
is
why?
ghetto.
Tell her, do we know
Were you supposed to wear glasses and you were
No,
squinching?
No.
My mother said when I was born, I squinted the whole time, and I still do. So they call me Squinchy.
That's a good one.
So how about this one? I'm just curious because I see this quite a bit. And after this, we're going to go to some questions from around the country by man Jay Jizzy. How about gold teethuses?
We don't want to talk about that.
Gold
That's like, you need
teethuses.
to let it go. Let it go.
Well,
Let
no,
it
that's
go.
a down south thing.
It is. It was a down.
It
It's a
was,
fashion.
but it's not. It's a fad.
It's a
It's
fashion.
a fashion and a fad.
And now
Right.
it's Black Panther.
Yeah.
So,
Right now
so
it's-
if
it's
I do,
Wakanda.
so we do not
Whatever.
now consider gold teeth ghetto.
It is.
It
but-
is.
Okay,
but-
okay.
Yeah, it is,
But it's a down
it's a
south thing
fad.
that came up, and that
Okay.
became a fashion
How
statement.
about no teeth?
Oh, that's
that's
ghetto. That's ghetto. That's ghetto.
Why? That South will give you a pair. Why? No,
Yeah, that's definitely ghetto. Jay, what we got coming in from around the country?
So listen, right now we have Cherise from Atlanta, and she said, "Can white people be considered ghetto?" And this is open to the panel.
Now, I've always seen the similarities between black and white in a lot of different ways. I'm curious on what people think here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Because ghetto, if we're defining about what it is how you act, how you carry yourself, and the things you do. Doesn't matter your color, your race, or your creed. It's the things you do that makes you ghetto. Now, your whole community can be ghetto, or your house can be ghetto. It depends on what you do. Doesn't mean you have to be black.
Now I'm gonna transition into a story from that.
Okay.
Friday I was at the R&V and we were walking in and the line was real long, so it was two white ladies standing outside. Wasn't expecting this from them. Me and my mother walked by and she said, "That line in there is long as a government cheese line." I said, "What?" My mother said, "That is ghetto." And I looked back and I was like, and it's two white ladies. Whoa, okay. I wasn't expecting it from them, but it was like the whole tone, the delivery of what they said, and I was like,
You know, that makes me think about something, Jay. Can I just... No,
Yeah,
let's stick with you, Jay. What do you have, Jay?
All right, so we have Dion from Los Angeles, and she says, "Have black people made being ghetto cool?" Oh,
No bit.
yes.
No bit.
How about it? You know, some of the things I see some of the entertainers do at times. I'm not talking about you, Jonathan. I'm not talking about you. I have seen some entertainers do some very ghetto. Now, see, I don't want you cracking on me. These lips have always been a reason for someone to crack on me. And my last name is Lift Country. They get y'all mixed up, so I'm going to leave you alone. I'm just going to put that out there.
Well, you know, we've made it fashionable to say I'm ghetto, just like we use the N-word to say it is a term of endearment. So we've taken things that people threw at us in a negative way and tried to endear it to enhance who we are and what we are, to prove to you you don't determine who we are.
Okay.
So I think that's it for me. I may be wrong, but that's just me saying it.
Okay. Anybody else?
No,
Nah, he
No,
was
he
good.
said it.
Nah, yeah,
Yes.
he was
Bam! In your face,
I don't know how you missed the lips. He said your face. You know, the lips cover the face. You know? But thank you anyway, Jay. What else?
this is actually from Eddie from New York City. Is having multiple baby daddies or baby mamas considered ghetto?
Yes, it is.
Yes, Lord.
Wow. Is it you?
After
So
two.
would that be?
Anything
would that be
after
five?
two.
Would that be five babies by 6 different fathers?
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
some bad math. Hold
Five
on.
babies.
Oh no,
Hold on.
because it's one, and she's not sure which one the
Oh,
father
so she
is.
just added
You
to
got
the
6
collection.
of the
Yes, that's
shit.
beyond ghetto. Because
Okay.
at some point, you should stop. Like, if you weren't sure the first two, you need to cut this out. Because this is not a game anymore. You're being ridiculous.
Absolutely.
No.
So what do you all think? Is that ghetto?
Yes.
Nah.
Y'all think so,
I
Lana?
don't think it's ghetto.
Why not? Why not?
Nah, I mean,
By 6
You don't know your baby daddies? You don't know none of your baby daddies?
Oh, baby mamas.
that's been
Hey,
happening
but-
forever. You can't call that
Yeah,
shit. That was happening
baby
before
mama.
ghetto was a thing. You can't call that ghetto.
No,
That makes sense. That makes sense. Go
It
ahead,
wasn't
Jonathan.
being told though. You was just saying that's your daddy.
Right. And nobody know. It was a family secret. Shh.
Well, I'm not going to call it being ghetto. I'm just going to call it bad choices. Bad decisions. Because everybody's looking for love. Everybody want to be loved. You might have someone who... See, one thing we don't talk about in every discussion is mental illness in our community.
Amen.
And mental illness can be anything from sadness, loneliness, or anything that go along with it. If you get someone who keeps doing that, they're looking for love. They're just doing it in all the wrong places. I'm not going to call that ghetto. I'm just going to say they making bad decisions and forgot to push them back.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
a good one.
Forgot. You know, since we have a little bit more time today too, we're gonna take one more question from around the country, then we're gonna hear from
That's why I
our
gotta get new
sponsors.
socks all the time. I put mine in the socks.
No.
We got this person actually from Boston said, is ramen noodles mixed with hot dogs and boiled eggs considered ghetto?
I never even heard of that.
Ramen noodles and hot dogs.
Ramen noodles.
I heard with hot sauce, but not hot dogs.
Hot
They're trying to make
dogs.
a ramen noodle bowl. They trying to do
No,
the
well, I'm
Thai
gonna tell you
one.
what. The person you should ask is the guy from college who was trying to survive. Ramen noodles and hot dogs was a.
That's a delicacy.
Right.
I never had to eat ramen noodles.
Now, see,
didn't have a clue.
see, you know what that was? That was Ghetto
We had meal
explaining it.
plans.
That was Ghetto explaining it. Sorry,
I
black
had
man.
ramen noodles and beef hot sausage, but not hot dogs. That was too much. No.
Never had ramen noodles with the hot dog?
Nah, man.
You put the hot sauce in there?
Nah.
She tried to act like she didn't, Jay.
No,
She
no,
tried-
I did not.
No,
beef
no.
hot sausage.
Would you
was
consider
the
that
thing.
Ghetto?
Well, let's
I was
just
hungry. It was
let's
delicious.
hear,
My meal plans.
we got to hear from our folks that make this possible for us every week. I love this discussion. Cheryl, who do we have for our sponsors? And then Reverend Wall is going to say a few words for us.
All right, for our sponsors, our local sponsors in the Boston area, we have Urbanica, Build and Design, Eddie Jenkins Law, Callaway Graphics, Sweet Embers Bakery, J. Rockwell Sound Studio, Shun's Kitchen in the South End, Janie Construction, Leo Papel, who is an entrepreneur and a business owner, George Kramer, who is also a business owner and an entrepreneur. We have some anonymous donors. Our national sponsors are Better Belly, Chicago, Illinois.
That's Ghetto.
Wu-Tang Gang. She started this last week. Wu-Tang Gang.
Don't leave her alone. She's tired.
Shop, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And Apon Concepts Productions in Miami, Florida.
And listen, what I want everybody to do in the future is to send in your comments about our co-producer. Last week she called it the Wu-Tang Gang. I guarantee she will not get by 1 week without getting it completely right. Let's put out some wages on our Miss Cheryl Spence. Thank you, Cheryl. So, Reverend Wall, you had a comment from somebody around this issue. What
You've
do we
got
have?
comments from all over the country here, and Charles Robinson says, "Ghetto is when you go on TV for the 10th time to find your baby dad.
Yes, Lord Maury.
Baby daddy."
No, Ghetto is when you say, I swear to God, Murray, 100%. That's it. Look at the face.
He's the father. He's the father for you.
And then when you say no, you go, yeah, that's Ghetto.
That's Ghetto. She right. She right.
How about Reverend Wall? One more. What else we have around the country?
Charles Robinson is really hanging in with all of you. He said he's too. I said please call in, and because he's going right after you and cracking jokes. And he said I am too shy and I'm enjoying this. I'm too shy to share. I'm enjoying the show. You got those kind of comments from a lot of people.
Now, listen. Now, first of all, Jonathan is being very mild today, so you don't have to worry about
that's
him.
mild?
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Jonathan is being nice, so you can call in and make any comment towards whatever he has to say. But please call in. We'd love to hear from you. When I always think about things when I'm always talking about this word ghetto. Now let's go back into something that I saw that I thought was ghetto. Now I you know what, I don't eat like I used to, but I happen to go to an all-you-can-eat buffet. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this one woman, a little overweight, but she is coming in and she has a huge bag with her. And I see people consistently bringing plates, but I don't see anything being eaten. She is stealing from the all-you-can-eat buffet and sticking food in the bag. Is that actually, what kind of lining does she have in there? No, hold up. She wasn't putting it in something else. She was dumping whole plates in the bag.
Oh, there was
Is
no
that
double
getting-
containers or nothing.
Ziploc
So sorry. No Ziplocs, no nothing.
Ziploc bag if you gonna do it.
Look, no to-go containers.
Well, I know you told
That
me.
ain't ghetto.
She was getting her money's
No,
worth.
that's Ghetto, but that is also a business decision.
Oh, entrepreneurship.
But look at it this way. What if she had 10 kids at home
That's what I'm about
and
to
they're
say.
hungry and they
That's
only had $13?
So she feeding
So
everybody.
if you get 13 Ziploc bags, you go home and feed those 13 kids. Anything left over, you can give to the homeless.
That's just
That
like a
is
fish.
entrepreneurship.
Okay, so
That wasn't gonna happen.
That one fish back.
That wasn't gonna happen. That's just like at the family cookouts where you making a to-go plate and a finale plate. It's the same thing.
you know what I mean? It's a
Why you got a to-go plate when you just getting there?
No, so
How you doing that?
So that's Ghetto.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the black folks' favorite type of wrapping material. with
Aluminum foil.
Aluminum foil.
Yep.
You ain't even served the first round of food.
Right.
It
But here you come with and the big one, the heavy duty. Smack! And you got the thing, you doubling up your plates. Why? You don't even have your plate.
You was talking about buffet. Can I give you my buffet? We was on tour and we was in Ohio, and we had a couple things, and we was feeling good. Went to the Chinese buffet. I think we was in there like an hour and a half. The Chinese lady came in. Listen, sign said all you can eat, not you eat all. You get something, go. You leave now. It's okay.
sick and tired of y'all. They done got up again.
You got to grab something, go. It's okay. Just go.
I'm sure people are going to have a response to this, like I think, and it wasn't before I started really getting deep into what I wanted to do with God that I decided to give this up. Is buying clothes from boosters, is that ghetto?
I wouldn't know. I don't do that.
Buying clothes, and I'm talking about top-notch designer clothing from boosters.
I know nothing
And
about
for people that don't know what boosters
very
are,
bad thing.
those are the neighborhood folks that, as Jonathan says, it's a business decision.
That's a
They go out and steal clothes, and they come back and sell them at a third of a price in the community.
Maybe they got it from a cousin, sister, uncle's brother. You don't know if they're stealing. Just saying.
They could be.
Is the question, is that ghetto? Yes.
I'm gonna say it's ghetto with an asterisk to it. It's
There's a
ghetto
side
with
note.
an asterisk because I've
like a
gotten
side
some
note.
good Nikes. Oh, I knew it. I didn't ask. If I can get some Nikes, which is going for $120 for $40,
I'm getting that.
there was no discussion. Do you have no? Do you got a 12? We good. I don't even need a bag. I need you to hurry up and get away from me.
That's a good bargain.
That's all I need
That's
to know.
a
I
good
didn't know where
bargain.
I don't care. Is that ghetto? Maybe. But you know what I did with the other $80?
What's that?
Did something else. Entrepreneurship.
Jonathan likes sales.
Okay,
Every
Everybody
person
likes
in
a
here.
sale.
I like
I like a
sales.
sale or a discount. Who
I
do
like
not?
sales too.
Everybody likes it. Even the pastor likes a sale.
Pastor Bruce Ward, buying clothes from the boosters.
Don't do that to him. Don't do that to him. I just said he likes sales.
They say like a good sale.
Charles Robinson is from New Orleans is saying, "Shut your mouth."
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Now you're trying to snitch on the pastor. God doesn't like that. God doesn't like that. That's ghetto. You snitching on the pastor.
I'm going to go back a little bit here. I'm going to go back, but I still happen to see this once in a while. Back in my day, it was nothing to see with a young man walking around, curlers in his hair and a perm. He got a scarf on it because it's not completely done yet. So I'm going to give you a break and I'm going to move it into the new era. Take the scarf off. The curlers are out. Wearing a perm for a man now considered ghetto.
It depends on the weather.
Well, if it's too hot, it'll sweat out.
Listen, it depends on the weather. It depends. It depends on the weather.
Tell me what you mean by that. What do you mean?
If he wants to perm his hair and he's out there with the do-rag or whatever, if it's raining, that's why he has it on. Other than that, no, you got to take that off, bro. I don't even understand that.
No,
Yes, he is. He's trying to get himself straight and
It
cute.
depends on whether they went to the shop or got the S-curl.
Or got it done in the house, in the kitchen sink.
That wasn't done.
The last
Good money for that.
The last decision before you down look at him, thinking he's ghetto. Maybe he was in jail for 25 years. Maybe that's what was happening when he went in.
And he don't know
when he came out, that's all he knew. He didn't know nothing about no fade.
He was getting that hair ready before he got released.
Had the
That was
fish.
the music too.
Had the shoe with the fish in it.
So I have to ask this question because my co-producer here, James Jizzy, laughed at me when I brought this up. Back in the day, I used to love wearing my leather pants. I love wearing some fly He laughing again. He laughing at my leather pants. He can't imagine just how they would look. Can men now still wear leather pants, or is that ghetto?
That is horrible.
No.
No.
Oh, it's not ghetto. It's the other one. Horrible.
Yeah, I agree with
I'm
you.
curious. Jonathan,
It's not even.
come on, Jonathan.
I used to have leather pants. I don't wear them no more.
Is it because you can't fit them or you just don't wear them?
Didn't you just tell us to leave the comedian alone?
I'm sorry.
He got on his head.
He go to his pocket. You just told us to leave him alone.
Yes, he did.
He did. He did. He did.
I get hit by a live ostrich. Tracy, who looked like an ostrich from Franklin Park Zoo, was out of work. And he trying to say, are you out of your mind? I'm out of work. Hey, Hey, Pastor, mute my mic for a minute.
That is right. No, Jay. Out of work ostrich. I can't even get work in the zoo. Hey, Jonathan, I apologize greatly. Can I please be pardoned? Please be
To
pardoned.
address you, I've lost 29 pounds. So. It seemed like you all looking great. And soon like you gained it in your neck.
There we go.
Oh no, this is not over. But back to the leather pants. You know why men cannot wear leather pants now? Leather pants is a style. It was a fashion back in the 80s, 90s. It was a thing to do with the whole leather outfit. Right now, everything is more breathable. Leather is not a breathable thing, and you cannot wear it because you end up too sweaty, too funky. That's what it is. It's all about the fashion because now, if you look at all materials today, it's more of a breathable fashion. Huh?
Vegan leather.
Vegan leather.
Vegan leather. Okay, whatever that is.
That's what Adam and Eve wore. Vegan leather. Leaves.
So I have to say this, and this goes back to the boosters.
Now, this is
My
ghetto.
girl and I, we were sitting around.
It's hot in here.
Yeah. You see, I am too.
Is that ghetto?
That's
You can't have
Is that ghetto?
drinks in here.
Ooh, it's hot in here. You get
that
no
ghetto?
window.
Lights is hot.
We in trouble in the
You got,
studio.
you
This is
got
like-
two fabulous producers, no water, no fans, no nothing.
So this goes back to the boosters. My baby and I were watching TV, and we happened to see on the
I
television.
thought he said his baby mama, but
No, I didn't say that. No.
I thought you was being ghetto again.
I would say my children's mother. But we were watching TV.
Did you all hear the S on children?
Mothers.
How many mothers were there?
Oh, man.
My daughter's mother, my son's mother.
It's that neck, that ostrich neck. I can't
Sorry,
get it all
Pastor
out.
Walls. He started it. He hit me first. Pastor, he hit me first.
Charles says, more than 3 black folk in a room, it's got to be hot.
It
It's
is.
hot. It's hot.
It's hot in here.
You're right.
So we were watching this article on the news, and it's this really now expensive baby carriage, and really expensive. I mean, probably like $1,000. And there's this gentleman that's following people around that own these baby carriages, watching them when they park them somewhere, and stealing the baby carriages and coming around the way and selling them. Now, is it ghetto to steal it and sell it, or is it ghetto to buy it? Or do we have some people here that are wanting to purchase some of those baby? I heard that I don't know thing.
$1,000 baby carriage.
I don't even want it.
And that's, you can only have it for a year and a half.
Right. What am I do? What's it
Is it gonna
doing?
drive itself?
It's
Right.
fashionable.
It's what? It's
A lot. It's good.
fashionable.
You say that until you ride in one, and then you understand why.
Saying they kid who went to the Ivy school. Everybody in here didn't have a carriage. My mother pulled us around in a wagon. Like all 4 of us in a little red wagon. Like,
Having fun.
There no carriage. Walked around. Somebody was
fact-
holding you. We passed you around.
matter of fact, there was a lot of Purity Supreme carriages in the well, your mother threw you in the back of that Purity Supreme
And keep going.
And keep going.
Jay, what we have from around the country, Jay?
Man, yo, we getting a lot of love today. So we have from Ronald from Detroit. Is long fingernails considered ghetto?
Long
Yes.
fingernails with designs. How about that?
Oh,
Just long fingernails.
No, I like those are cool. You know what's ghetto? Long toenails.
No, that's just nasty.
That's ghetto, right?
Yeah, that's ghetto. You
That's
can't do
nasty.
that.
Long fingernails
Like,
are
baby,
ghetto.
scratch my back. Hold on. Put up on your back.
That feel good. Jay, what else we have, Jay?
okay. We have another person from Los Angeles, and their name is They got a ghetto name. Look,
Oh, thank you for that, Joe. I hope they continue to watch and listen.
they got a ghetto name.
Turn it off.
So, what is your? This is actually they want to know from each of the panel. What is your favorite ghetto movie?
Hold on,
What's
hold
the
on.
ghetto name?
What's the name?
You can't
get that.
You can't
Can you
try.
pronounce it?
Ghetto that you can't pronounce the name. That's
even
the ghetto.
pronounce it.
I don't want to mess
You
this
don't want to
person's
spell
name
it?
up.
Come on, spell it.
Nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want that. We need people to tune in. We need people to
How
tune
about
in.
ghetto movies, folks? Can you
Ghetto
think of any
movies. What's
ghetto
your favorite
movies?
ghetto movie?
No, I love Shaft.
Shaft is ghetto.
It's ghetto for me.
Friday-
You
Friday
understand my
afternoon.
age with their age? I love it.
I like
Shaft movie for me.
I think too. Normally, when you see a ghetto movie, you never remember the name
Yeah, you
because it
don't.
was so ghetto.
No, those were bad ghetto movies.
I'm gonna
So
get you,
everybody go
sucker.
to Friday.
I'm gonna get you sucker out.
See? You remember
Don't be a
that?
menace to society. Juice in the hood.
I don't like that one. That was too much. That was
That was ghetto.
That
was
was
ghetto.
way
That was
too
real
much.
ghetto.
Yep.
Those are ghetto.
Waiting to Exhale. Is that ghetto?
No.
No.
Those the women chiming in. No, that's our theme movie. That's our theme movie.
So how about when she burned the dude's car? I was a little bit
What's
ghetto.
that?
That ain't ghetto.
Yeah, he deserved it. She was mad. She was mad.
So hold on a second. So have y'all burned somebody's car?
I don't know what you talking about. That just in my
We wouldn't
business.
tell
I don't
you
know.
that.
Exactly.
Not intentionally.
I know.
I
Oh, know nothing about that.
I did burn a car. You ain't gonna leave me, and I bought you a car. You come out the club and take a bus. You gonna leave me and got the new guy in the car that I bought. I said it. You find the car, come get me. I said it. I did it.
That's not ghetto. That is called revenge.
No,
that's called anger.
My money.
Oh, even better.
You gonna tell me you love me and I spent $3,000 on a car? You got somebody else in it. Boom, bye, boo boo.
Fine,
Jay,
maybe
what
no
else do we
ties
have?
in the windows.
This is for Jonathan. He's asking us.
Allegedly, you're supposed to say that.
Oh
Allegedly.
no! I'm in the church of the Lord. I did it. God knows my heart.
This is
No, legend.
Listen, all right, you are where you are.
Okay,
this is for Mr. Jonathan Gates, aka Reverend Gates, today.
Oh.
And he's saying, they asking you, who is your favorite comedian, and are they ghetto? And this is actually from Chicago, Joyce.
There are so many comedians that's out there that I think are great. I can always tell you Richard Pryor. I can tell you Red Fox. I can tell you the late, great Bernie Mac. One of the most favorite comics that I loved watching growing up before I got into comic was George Carlin. If you don't know who George Carlin is, he's a white comedian who did comedy over 50 years.
I
And
remember
his
him.
substance was so great. If you didn't get it then and you go back and watch it, it was like, wow. And I'll tell you, I don't know how close this is to not doing it on a church radio, but I remember the first thing he said. He said,
Be careful now.
No,
They will
I'm
find
not
us.
going to swear. It's not going to be any of that. He said, and he was looking at it, and he said, I want y'all to think about this. Are you mad when you see all these people protesting abortion? Well, I want you to look at them. How many in that crowd you would really sleep with in the first place? And I was like, that's crazy. I went back and seen it on TV. There was a protest here, and I was like, nope. No. Heck no. Yeah. So George Carlin, to me, had so much comedy and knowledge. And what I talked about earlier, comedians take everyday life and make it funny enough so you can get through your life.
Yeah.
So I tell people, when you go out, listen to laugh to live. So that's what a good comic is. And you don't have to wait to see the Cedric the Entertainers. You don't have to see Kevin Hart. There are a lot of good comics out there. And so when you see the meat of what they're talking about, if it hits you, let it go.
That's right. Let me interject this into the conversation as well. Jonathan Gates has been doing some wonderful shows out here, especially in a city where there's not a lot of black social entertainment going on, not a lot of opportunities here. He does some wonderful events, and we as a black community first and foremost have to get out there and support him. But I want to thank Jonathan for continuing to do this in the community. Can we all give him a round of applause, please? Now, hopefully that'll get me off the chopping block, Jonathan.
Let me think about it. No.
So I saw something else that looked like bad. This had to be ghetto, and I had to write it down. And where did I write? Flip flops. A woman was wearing flip flops. Hold on,
That's
with
the
nasty, dirty, heel cracking feet, and toenails that look like a lion's feet.
That's called home training.
Is that ghetto?
It's no home training.
Nasty.
You didn't wash. When you get in the shower, you put your feet in first. How did that work?
Yeah, really.
Something didn't happen. You just came outside. No.
Oh, church is going on.
Yeah, they back in session, but we gonna fix that. Is there anything else that we consider to be ghetto?
Oh, there's a few.
Give us some, Jonathan.
Grown people going to the store in pajamas.
Oh, goodness.
Oh yeah.
Drives me crazy.
What's those them stupid little shoes with the fur on them?
Yeah, even
The
that.
Uggs.
The Uggs. The slippers.
I can't even give you
To
something.
the pajama pants
Yeah, the whole outfit.
and the scarf. I remember my mama would get to walk to the corner store, would get totally dressed and did her hair
Yes.
That's
before
right.
she would go outside.
That's right. But
Today we don't care.
just
I
understand
seen
what
some dudes in pajama pants.
Yo, no, hold on. Tell you, when I was sending out this issue around ghetto, people were sending things in. My cousin told me one time he was at a school, and the father had to come up with the mother to talk about the child. The father came in, and this is the only way I can describe this type of t-shirt, the wife beater undershirts with pajama pants on, slippers, and half his hair braided, went to the school to talk about his child. Now, do we put that in the ghetto Hall of Fame? Good.
Yeah, listen, he showed up, but
Yeah, he
he could have
showed
did a
up.
little
You gotta
better.
celebrate.
He showed up, but I'm saying, like, you did like the 1 and the 2. Like, oh no.
You know, when you put that as the principal should be careful what he say about that child. Because this man came in a pajama,
That
half a
means got
braid, and a wife beater. That means he half crazy. So you be careful what you say about that child, because something's going to come out of his mouth. I'm going to tell you right now.
So listen, we're at the point of our show now. We're going to be starting to wind down here. We apologize to folks. We did have someone for the national spotlight today, a very well-known figure, but he got caught at the airport and stuck in traffic. We will forgive you this time, but we do hope we get you back on, and I will not mention your name. Panelists. I'm going to give you an opportunity to close out on the word ghetto. You can close it out with a message. You can talk about 10, 20 things of the ghetto, anything you want to say in your last statement here on our show. How about if we start with Joyo?
Let's see. I don't know. Ghetto to me has always just been a state of mind. I think I'm the youngest, well, besides you, cutie, down there. But I mean, I've never known, like, everything a ghetto has done, a ghetto has seen. I even talked to my 22-year-old, and he said to me, ghetto is the place that you live. Ghetto to him and to me has always been where you're at. So then it switched, and then all of a sudden, ghetto. Ghetto is about to be replaced by ratchet. And I'm just like, what's the new
that's
word?
a good point. That's a good point. Ratchet.
I don't know. Yeah,
Ratchet.
it's turning into something new. So that's it.
Elias, how about your closing statement on the word ghetto?
Ghetto is what ghetto does. The ghettoest thing I know is I went to a funeral once and someone sent an edible arrangement.
Oh my goodness, oh, that's gettable.
Pretty But I think what it's about is like people, you do the best you can in the best way you can do it. So
Okay.
work it out.
Okay.
Come on.
Edible arrangement at the funeral. Producers, don't forget to move in here. DJ, what do you see as your closing statement for the word ghetto?
Well, I'm kind of going to chime in with Joelle. I was talking to my 16-year-old before I left, and I was like, I'm going to go on this radio station, and we're talking about ghetto. So what do you think ghetto is? And she's like, ghetto is not where you, because I was like, what I thought it was before, in the past, it was where you lived, where you came from. She said, no, it's not that. It's like who you are. It's just part of what you do and how you express yourself and your personality, but it's not. So it's mainly about your character.
Okay.
And that was her statement. I was like, wow, I never looked at it like that.
Sure.
So I'm going to leave it like that.
Stay there, DJ.
The
We're
16-year-olds.
going to continue on with that discussion.
Ghetto
Jonathan.
fabulous.
Ghetto is a state of mind. There's certain things you do that can be ghetto. If you go to a cookout and you bring no-name sodas, do not drink the Pepsi. If you bring the potato salad that's nasty, don't make 3 plates of all the macaroni and cheese. If you go to somebody's house and you use the bathroom and you don't use the bathroom in your house, that is ghetto. Stop doing things you wouldn't do at home. If you know your children are bad, leave them in the car. If you know you got a friend that's just wild and loud, do not go out with them, because everybody has that friend. I don't think ghetto is who you are, but ghetto is what you believe you are. Now, if you believe you are lower than something else and you act that way, that's because what you want to do. I think we are we're taking that word just like we did the N word and we're saying, pow, here it is, and we're going to use it to do better for who we are. There are a lot of people that use the word ghetto. I love being ghetto. It's sometimes. And I don't. Sometimes it's not the right time.
Sure.
So it's just like the panel was saying. It's how you act in different situations.
Sure. I like that. You know what I'm going to say to Elias and Joyo? Bring your chairs back over. We're going to keep everybody in this discussion today. This is the part of our discussion we call the dessert, where we kind of have our producers kind of analyze and talk a little bit about what we discussed here today around the word ghetto. Cheryl, you are now what we consider our white expert. You're the only white panelist that we have here today as our co-producer. How do you see the term ghetto? You lived in a white neighborhood growing up, is that correct?
I lived in a predominantly black neighborhood.
I was setting you up for that one. So you've seen a lot of ghetto. Definitely. But tell us what you think, Cheryl.
Well, my perception or definition of a ghetto is where folks of any color make do with what they have. I think people from the ghetto are very resourceful. I mean, the most ghetto thing I think that came out of the ghetto was a clothesline. I mean, you can put the clothesline, put your clothes out. You don't have to go to washer, dryer. You know, you wash your hand, wash your clothes, you put them out.
Let them drip right in the kitchen.
Sort of. Hand-me-downs, ghetto.
You think that's ghetto?
Yeah, you know, you had to always wear your sister's clothes.
Yeah, that's a little
what
ghetto. I think so.
That's economics.
I think so too.
I wore designer jeans called Harry's growing up.
Harry's.
My brother Harry, when he was finished. When my brother Harry finished wearing them, they were mine.
See?
I'm the oldest of 3. I know nothing what you speak of.
Yeah, make sure you're talking to the mic, Joyo. Talking to the mic.
Sorry, I'm the oldest of 3. I have no idea what you speak of.
Gail, what do you think about our discussion today? How was this in regards to the term ghetto?
It was fun. You know, just sitting there and listening to everyone and just getting a chance to laugh and just absorb it all. But I'm going to go with ghetto, and I do think it's a state of mind, a state of being. I sometimes think that, you know, when you talk about ghetto, it makes you look back at your life and look back at all the things that you did that weren't always acceptable or quite right. And then you and the time to laugh at yourself. So in order to be ghetto, real ghetto, or for people to really understand that, you got to be able to take a look at yourself too and really understand the things that you do that are really ghetto, because some folks think that there is nothing ghetto about them. And there certainly is. And I've been enough places to know. And I might consider myself or think that I am, you know, not always like I'm so well put together. And I say that about everybody. But deep down inside, there's a ghetto streak in every single human being. And the sooner you let it out, the more better you'll be at really how you perceive other people being ghetto.
There we go. That comes from another educator's point of view. That's right. That's Elias's mom doing her thing as well. But you know what, Jay? I don't mind being ghetto at times.
I don't mind either.
I don't mind. Sometimes I have to be ghetto when they bring me a check. It's got a whole lot of money on it, and the food was horrible. The service was horrible. I'm going to be a little ghetto when I talk to them people. I'm sorry. I don't mind it if there is a time for it. Our panelists, do you ever get ghetto? Oh, DJ! Why you look at me? DJ, you ever ghetto?
I think everybody's a little ghetto.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that general answer. I said you.
Did this.
You got to talk to the mic, folks.
I think we just did this. We went on a little company lunch, and the lady kept forgetting us. And after a while, most of the people there were predominantly black, and she just kind of kept walking by us. Her tip just kept decreasing. By the end of the lunch, I really don't know if she had a tip. I'm just saying.
So not giving a tip is ghetto.
No, well, yeah, the service you get is the service you get. I'm just
DJ?
saying.
What?
Come on, DJ. Are you ever ghetto, DJ?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you enjoy being ghetto, DJ?
Absolutely. You gotta let your hair down and be ghetto sometimes.
Okay, there you
when
go.
It's necessary.
You're being specific. So would you go into the Hall of Fame of Ghettoism? Would you go there?
And pick one out.
Oh, yeah, you can pick one if you like.
Oh, man.
Let me come back.
Okay,
to you on
okay.
that one.
Jonathan, are you ever ghetto?
Oh man, I think I got one for the Ghetto of Ghetto Hall of Fame. I think there's a bus with my name. I'll tell you what happened. I was on a movie and we wrapped up, and it was in Boston, and we went to this bar to have drinks, and it was me and 17 white people, and the white guy said something to me I've never heard black people say to me when I'm drinking. No matter what it is, you drink, I buy.
Yes.
So he said that. See that? So that to me, that shocked me. He said, "Whatever you drink, I buy." I said, "Okay." At that time, I was drinking Hennessy. They should be a sponsor for this show. But you know us at the bar we went to, there was regular Hennessy, next level Hennessy, and oh my God! So you know my eyes went to the oh my God! So at the end of the night, the bill came up to $2,750. The white guy who invented me. But the white guy who invited me paid it with his credit card. Now the other 17 people with us thought they should tip because I wanted to tip too. They told me no. So each one of them gave $40 each a tip. So yes, at this bar. So you do the math. No, you do the math. That was like over like $800 worth of tip.
At least.
But they left it with me to pay the service. I'll just say this: I left home with $150. I went home with $375. I don't know if that's ghetto or not, but that happened.
Yes,
That's not your fault. They should know how to add, subtract, and multiply.
They shouldn't leave that much money around black people who've been drinking.
That's not your fault. That's not
Jay,
your fault.
what do you think about our topic today? What do you think about our
Man,
our
it's real cool to get different perspective on ghetto. You know what I mean? I think we all ghetto in some type of way, and I love being ghetto.
Yeah.
And I love my ghetto people.
Yeah, let me just say, folks, I want to thank all of you for coming out today. I want to thank my team. I want to thank James Levesque, Cheryl Spence, Gail Forbes Harris. I want to thank my panelists, the new folks, Joy Ellen, DJ in the place. Elias, my man, thank you very much. But oh my goodness, we are bringing our star power up to another level by having Jay Gates on the show.
Papa Gates.
We got to figure out how to keep him here. I want to thank everybody, all my ghetto fans. Keep being ghetto. Take us out of here, Jay.
Keep knocking, keep rocking, folks. Check in with us, not next week, but the following week.
Yes, we're gonna do the Holy Ghost in the Black Church. Are you for real? Yes, we are. Jonathan, look down. Not yet, Jonathan. Not yet. But I want to thank you. I want to thank Reverend Bruce Wall, Reverend Hard for all that they do for us. Thank you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. God bless.
God bless.